Hey, coin collectors and curious folks. What's the most you've ever spent on a penny? $1? $2? Well, hold on to your wallets, because the 1964 D Lincoln penny could be worth $1 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1 million. Now, before you rush to dig through your spare change jar, let me give you the lowdown on why this particular penny is causing such a stir in the world of numismatics. Grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's talk about the 1964 D Lincoln penny, how it could turn your pocket change into a fortune and why it's one of the most fascinating coins to hunt for today. All right, let's start with a little history. In 1964, the U.S. Mint was cranking out Lincoln pennies like they were going out of style. You know the classic design, right? Abraham Lincoln on the front, the familiar wheat stalks on the back. But here's the kicker. There's something special about a small number of 1964 D pennies. So, what makes these pennies different? Well, one of them recently sold for a staggering $1 million at auction. Yep, $1 million for a penny. I bet you didn't think a coin worth 1 cent could become the talk of the town. Huh? Now, let me tell you what sets the 1964 D penny apart from the rest. In 1964, most pennies were struck with a typical copper alloy. But some, only a few, were struck with a unique kind of metal that makes them stand out, not just visually, but financially. This rare error coin is known as a double die reverse. Essentially, the mint made a mistake when they stamped the penny. The design ended up being doubled on the reverse side, and it's that little error that makes it worth a fortune. The key is in the details. If you've got a 1964 D penny, you're going to want to take a magnifying glass to it. Look closely at the reverse side. Can you see the doubling in the lettering or the wheat stalks? If so, you could be holding a literal gold mine, or should I say copper mine? Okay, I'm totally checking my change jar right now, but don't get too excited just yet. While the $1 million coin did sell at auction, that doesn't mean every 1964 D penny you find is automatically worth a fortune. A few thousand of these pennies were made with the error, so they're rare but not impossible to find. The value depends on the quality, the severity of the error, and whether it's in pristine condition. I once found a penny in a parking lot, and I got all excited thinking it could be rare. Turns out it was just a regular penny, with some really questionable stains. But hey, at least it made me feel like a treasure hunter for a hot minute. So, how do you know if your 1964 D penny is worth something? First, check for the double die error. Then, assess the condition. If it's in really good shape, it could be worth significantly more than just a few bucks. And don't forget, a coin's market value can vary depending on demand, rarity, and the buyer. So keep your ears open for the next big auction. All right, folks, whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone hoping to strike it rich in your spare change, the 1964 D Lincoln penny could be your ticket to big bucks. It's proof that you don't always need a treasure map to find something valuable. Sometimes, the treasure is in your pocket. If you know where to look. If you enjoyed hearing about this $1 million penny and want to know more tips on which coins could be worth your time, and maybe your fortune, hit that subscribe button. I'll keep the coin knowledge coming, and who knows? The next penny you find could be the next big payday. Thanks for watching, and happy coin hunting. Hold on to your change jars, because today I'm going to tell you about a coin that might just make you a millionaire. Yes, you heard that right. We're talking about the 1985 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, you might be thinking, wait, a penny? Worth $1 million? Is this some sort of joke? Well, buckle up, because this penny is no ordinary penny, and I promise you, this is not a prank. All right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. The 1985 D penny is not one of those run-of-the-mill, I just throw it in my pocket change type of coins. Oh no, this bad boy is special, and not in the "oh, that's a cool misprint" kind of special. We're talking about a coin so rare that it could potentially fetch you $1.1 million at auction. I'll say that again, $1.1 million. That's not even a typo. Now, you're probably wondering, how is this penny worth so much? What makes it different? Well, let me break it down for you. In 1985, the U.S. Mint made millions of pennies, but here's where it gets interesting. A small batch of 1985 pennies were mistakenly struck with the wrong die, which means they have a very distinct, very rare, and very valuable error. To be more specific, these are what we call double die pennies. And this error can be found on the Lincoln Memorial side, where you'll see a slight doubling of the lettering, making it an even rarer gem.so. How does a penny end up being worth $1 million? Simple. Collectors lose their minds over rare, unique coins. And trust me, there's a huge demand for these types of pennies, especially the ones with visible errors. They're like the rare Pokemon of the coin world. Only a select few ever catch them all now. Let's talk about the market value. As of now, this little penny could be worth upwards of $1.1 million. That's right, 1.1 million. And no, this isn't some fantasy world where coins get more valuable with each passing year like wine. It's simply because the number of these error pennies is so small and the demand is so high. Think of it like finding a rare limited edition trading card. There are only a few in existence and suddenly, everyone wants one. But hold on. Before you start digging through your couch cushions looking for this golden ticket, let me give you a little reality check. Not every 1985 D penny is going to be worth a fortune. There's a specific condition these coins need to be in to command top dollar. The error has to be clearly visible, and the penny itself needs to be in great shape. So, if you're holding a 1985 D penny that looks like it was run over by a car, don't expect to sell it for $1 million. Unless, of course, you're auctioning it off as a vintage road hazard. Now, here's a quick personal story. A few years ago, I was at a yard sale, and I spotted a jar of loose change on a table. It was mostly filled with modern coins, nothing too exciting. But then, I saw it. A shiny 1985 D penny sitting there, glinting in the sunlight. My heart skipped a beat. I quickly grabbed it, but then I had to fight the urge to shout, "I'm gonna be a millionaire." I asked the seller how much for the jar. She said, "Oh, just $1 for the whole thing." Without hesitation, I paid her the dollar, grabbed my change, and ran home to check that penny. Sadly, it turned out to be just a regular old 1985 D penny. No double die error, no $1 million value. But hey, I still got a good laugh out of it and I learned a valuable lesson. Always check your change. The 1985 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny is not just your average penny. If you come across one of these with a double die error, you might just have $1 million coin in your hands. But remember, not all 1985 pennies are created equal, so be sure to inspect yours carefully. If you're lucky enough to find one, get it appraised, and who knows, you could be the next coin millionaire. If you enjoyed this little dive into the world of rare coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got loads more tips, tricks, and stories to help you discover coins worth money that you probably didn't even know you had lying around. Don't miss out. Subscribe now and start your journey toward turning pennies into, well, maybe not millions every time, but definitely more valuable knowledge. Hey there, coin hunters. What's the one thing better than finding a hidden treasure? Finding a hidden treasure in your pocket change. Yep, you heard me right. The 1970 D. Abraham Lincoln penny could be worth a whopping $1.2 million. Crazy, right? You might just have a mini gold mine sitting in your couch cushions, and today, I'm going to show you how to tell if it's the real deal. So, sit back, grab your magnifying glass, I know you've got one, and let's dive into the world of pennies. You never know, by the end of this video, you might just become the proud owner of a fortune. Well, if you're lucky. But first, hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss any of our money-making coin tips. Alright, let's talk 1970 D pennies. First off, it's easy to think, it's just a penny. But that penny you're holding could have a serious backstory, and I'm not just talking about how it got stuck between your car seat cushions. Here's where things get exciting. Back in 1970, there was a little mishap at the US Mint. There was this huge batch of pennies minted in Denver with a major error, a very, very subtle one, but enough to make the coin highly sought after by collectors today. See, in 1970, they had these special, proof-like coins mint for collectors, but a few sneaky little mistakes slipped through the cracks, meaning some of these pennies were accidentally minted with the wrong die, creating some unique features. And guess what? If you happen to have one of those 1970 D pennies with a double die, you've hit the jackpot. But hold on, you're not going to be able to just see this error with the naked eye. You need to get up close and personal. Grab a magnifying glass and check out the date and lettering on your penny. If you see a noticeable doubling, like the 7 or the 0 in the year 1970, you might have a piece of history on your hands. It looks like the letters are blurred or doubled, as if they're trying to escape the coin. It's like the coin was trying to tell you something in Morse code. But don't get too excited just yet. The key is that your coin must be in near-perfect condition. If it's all worn down from years of use in vending machines and under sofas, the value drops fast. A nice, well-preserved one could fetch you a pretty penny, pun intended. We're talking $1.2 million, folks. That's more than most people will make in a lifetime. Just imagine being able to say, yeah, I found that in my change at the grocery store. Now, I can't help but laugh when I think of how many times I've thought I found something valuable, only to realize it was just another old penny. I'll never forget the time I was rooting through a jar of coins I had saved for a rainy day. I thought I hit the jackpot when I pulled out a shiny penny that seemed too good to be true. But after a quick check, I realized it was just a regular one from the 80s. I felt like a kid who just lost their first big game of Monopoly, but hey, it's all part of the fun. So, let's recap. You've got a 1970 D penny, you've got your magnifying glass, and you're ready to do some detective work. Here are the steps. Look for the double die error. Check out the year, 1970, and the lettering on the coin. If the numbers look like they're doubled or blurry, you could have a winner. Condition matters. The better the condition, the higher the value. If your penny is covered in scratches, it's not going to get you $1.2 million. But a mint condition one? Now we're talking. Get it appraised. Don't just take my word for it. If you think you've got the real deal, it's time to get it checked by a professional coin appraiser. They'll help you determine if it's worth all those big bucks. And there you have it, folks. With a little patience, a magnifying glass, and some luck, that simple penny in your pocket could be worth more than you ever imagined. Can you believe that in 1970, someone probably tossed a handful of these pennies into their change jar and never thought twice about it? And now, 50-plus years later, it's worth more than a Ferrari. Who knew? Before you run off to check your penny jar, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Why? Because if you want more tips on hidden treasures, rare coins, and everything in between, you're going to want to stick around. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on any of the good stuff. Now, I'm off to check my own change jar again. Maybe, just maybe, I'll get lucky this time. Stay tuned, coin lovers, and happy hunting. Hit that like button if you found this helpful, drop a comment if you've ever found something crazy in your coins, and don't forget to subscribe for more tips on coins that could make you a millionaire. Hey there, coin hunters. Let me ask you something. Have you ever gone through a jar of old pennies, thinking, there's got to be something valuable in here? I've certainly done it, and let me tell you, sometimes you just find, well, pennies. But, and this is a big but, there's one rare penny out there that could be worth a whole lot more than you think. I'm talking about the 1984 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. And when I say a whole lot, I mean, drumroll, up to $1.3 million. Yep, you heard me right, $1.3 million for a penny. Stick around, because we're diving into why this penny is worth so much, how to spot it, and how it could change your coin collecting life forever. Now, you're probably wondering, wait a minute, how can a penny from 1984 be worth more than a fancy dinner at a five-star restaurant? Well, here's the deal. Most pennies are just, well, pennies. They're made in the billions, and they're everywhere. But in 1984, something happened. See, pennies usually have a mint mark, that little D for Denver or S for San Francisco, showing where they were made. But, for some reason, a small batch of 1984 pennies were struck without a mint mark. No D, no S, just a plain penny dot. Here's where things get interesting. The lack of a mint mark made these pennies super rare. Like, where'd you come from? Rare. People started to realize, hey, this isn't supposed to be like this. That rarity? Well, rarity equals value. Now, to be clear, just any 1984 penny isn't going to get you $1.3 million. Nope, it's gotta be the no mint mark variety. But that's the thing, it's hard to spot if you don't know what you're looking for. You need to take a close look at that penny. If there's no mint mark under the date, you've got a potential gold mine on your hands. So check your change. But there's more to this penny than just its rarity. The condition is everything. You might find a 1984 no mint mark penny in your collection, but if it's been hanging out at the bottom of a dirty old coin jar, then you're not gonna make a fortune off of it. This penny has to be in mint condition to be worth that $1 million value. We're talking about coins with a perfect shine, crisp details, and no major wear and tear. It's like the difference between finding an old, dusty comic book in your attic and discovering a pristine, first edition Superman. One's worth $1, and the other's worth a fortune. Speaking of finding rare coins, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a local garage sale, just minding my own business, looking for random treasures, and I spotted a tin can full of old coins. Of course, I dove right in, hoping to find something special. I started pulling out pennies, nickels, and dimes, but most of them were nothing more than junk. But then, bam, I saw it. A 1955 wheat penny. Now, I didn't know it at the time, but that penny was a double die variety, worth way more than the face value. It wasn't quite $1.3 million, but it was still a decent find. That moment taught me how important it is to pay attention to the small details when coin hunting. So, I always keep my eyes peeled for those rare finds, like that elusive 1984 no mint mark penny. Alright, so here's the deal. If you find a 1984 penny without a mint mark, hold on to it. It could be worth a small fortune, depending on its condition. The key takeaway here is, always check your pennies. You never know when you'll find a treasure hiding in plain sight. Now, I'm not saying you're going to find a $1.3 million penny in every jar, but it's worth a little inspection. And hey, if you want more tips, tricks, and strategies on how to hunt down those valuable coins, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. I'll be here, sharing all the ways to turn your loose change into something way more valuable. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting, everyone. What do you think is more valuable than your average penny? Most of us probably think of pennies as pocket change, something we toss in a jar or just ignore. But guess what? There's actually a penny out there that could be worth more than your car, your house, or even your entire vacation fund. I'm talking about the 1949 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yes, this little coin could be worth a whopping $1.4 million. Sounds crazy, right? Well, buckle up, because we're about to dive into the world of rare coins, their values, and how you can spot one of these treasures hiding in your very own coin jar. Trust me, you'll want to hear this. Okay, so let's start with the basics. The 1949 Lincoln penny, you probably know it, right? It's a pretty standard coin, with the famous Lincoln Memorial on the back and Abraham Lincoln's face on the front. But here's the kicker. This penny was produced without a mint mark. You might be wondering, what does that mean, and why should I care? Well, typically, coins are stamped with a mint mark to tell us where they were produced. The Philadelphia Mint, for example, didn't use a mint mark for coins struck there in 1949. So, when collectors see a 1949 penny with no mint mark, they start to pay attention. But here's the thing. Most of these pennies are just, well, regular old pennies. It turns out, a small percentage of these 1949 pennies were struck with a special die, making them super rare. These pennies don't just have no mint mark, they also have a unique quality that collectors are willing to pay top dollar for. And by top dollar, I mean $1.4 million. Yes, you heard that right. So, how does this happen? Well, in the world of coin collecting, it's all about rarity and condition. The fewer of a specific coin that were made, and the better condition they're in, the more valuable they are. For the 1949 no mint mark penny, there are only a handful of these coins that have survived in mint condition. That's where the $1.4 million comes in. Let me tell you a quick personal story. A while back, I was at a family reunion. Yes, I actually have family reunions, when my cousin, who's a coin collector, showed me his collection. He pulled out this beat-up old penny from his pocket. It was a 1949 Lincoln penny. I laughed and asked, "Is this your treasure?" But he just smiled and said, "You never know." Now, I don't know about you, but if I had that penny in my possession today, I'd be doing a happy dance all the way to the bank. But here's the catch. Most of us wouldn't even know how to spot a rare coin like that. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. Or, in my case, a penny in a jar of coins I've been hoarding for years. So, how can you tell if you've got a rare 1949 penny? First, check if it has no mint mark. Second, look for the condition. A penny in mint state, meaning it has very few scratches, dents, or signs of wear, is what you want. If yours looks like it was dropped in a puddle, well, you might not be making millions anytime soon. Let's talk about how to find these bad boys. First, grab your magnifying glass. No, seriously. You don't need to be a professional numismatist, that's a fancy word for coin expert, by the way, to spot something valuable. But you do need to be a little extra careful. Look at the date and check if there's no mint mark under the date. If it's clear, that's your first hint. Then, evaluate the condition of the coin. The higher the grade, the higher the price. Coins that are graded MS 67 or higher, which means they're in near-perfect condition, are the ones that can fetch sky-high prices. So, if you've got a nice, shiny one that looks like it just came off the press, you might be sitting on a gold mine. Or, well, a copper mine, to be specific. Alright, now you're probably sitting there, staring at your coin jar and wondering, do I have one of these $1,000,000 pennies? Well, maybe you do and maybe you don't. But you'll never know unless you check. Coin collecting can be a fun, exciting, and sometimes lucrative hobby, so why not start looking a little closer at the change you've got lying around? If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on rare coins, how to spot hidden treasures, and coin collecting strategies, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on what could be your next big find. And hey, maybe the next time we meet, you'll be sharing your story about how you found your very own $1,000,000 penny. Thanks for watching, and remember, check your pockets, check your jars, and keep your eyes peeled for that hidden treasure. Catch you in the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss out on another chance to learn about coins that could make you rich. Hey there, coin collectors, treasure hunters, and just plain curious folks. I've got a question for you. What would you do if you found a penny worth over $1,000,000? Yeah, you heard me right. There's a 1991 D mint mark penny out there that could be worth as much as $1.50 million. Now, before you start digging through your couch cushions or frantically searching your piggy bank, let's talk about how a simple penny can turn into such a gold mine, and more importantly, how you can spot a rare coin that's worth a fortune. Stick around. This is going to be a wild ride. You're probably thinking, a penny? Really? That little piece of copper is worth that much? Well, let's break it down, because there's a lot more to this coin than meets the eye. Spoiler alert, it's not just any old penny you'll find at the bottom of your purse. So, what makes the 1991 D mint mark penny so special? Well, in short, it's a total mystery. You see, in 1991, the US Mint produced millions of pennies, but a few slipped through the cracks that were, let's say, a little different. And I'm not talking about that one weird penny that you thought you lost but found stuck in your shoe months later. No, these pennies have something extra, a rare flaw or variety that makes them super valuable. Now, if you're wondering what to look for, here's the thing. These rare pennies are known for a double die error. Basically, what happened was that the coin was struck twice during the minting process, causing certain parts of the design to appear doubled. It's like when you accidentally hit send twice on a text and end up looking like a total weirdo. Only in this case, it's worth $1.50 million. Now, not every 1991 D penny is a gold mine. You have to find the right one that has the double die effect. The more noticeable the doubling, the more valuable it is. If you're lucky enough to find one, you could be looking at a fortune. Imagine this. You're just hanging out, minding your own business, maybe doing some spring cleaning, and you find a 1991 D penny with this magical double die error. You throw it into a jar of other pennies because, let's be honest, we all do that, right? Fast forward a few years, and you get curious, hey, maybe this penny is worth something. So you go on the good old internet, look it up, and bam! Your jaw hits the floor when you find out it could be worth over $1,000,000. It's the kind of moment that makes you question every penny you've ever thrown away in your life. Now, I'm not saying you'll find one in every change jar, but knowing what to look for can really pay off. Let's talk numbers. The value of this penny has fluctuated over the years. You can find listings for these rare 1991 D pennies ranging from thousands to, yes, even $1.5 million for the top-tier ones. It all depends on the condition of the coin, the severity of the error, and how lucky you are to find it. There's even a story of someone selling one for around $1.5 million, just for that little penny. But here's the kicker. If you happen to find one of these bad boys, you're going to want to get it professionally graded. Professional grading is like a spa day for your coins. They clean it up, evaluate its condition, and then give it a grade. A higher grade means it's worth more money. Plus, you never know when a coin might shoot up in value. We're talking about a penny, folks. A penny. I bet that person who found that 1991D didn't expect to have their life changed forever by a coin worth less than $1 when it was first minted. Can you imagine the excitement when they got it appraised? You know, I have a pretty funny personal story. I remember once finding a penny in the street. Yes, the street. And I thought to myself, why not? Free money, right? I pocketed it and didn't think twice. Fast forward a few months later, I'm at a coin show, talking to an expert, and he casually mentions how certain pennies can be worth hundreds or even thousands. And there I was, staring at my pocket full of coins, wondering if I just missed my big chance to retire early. Never underestimate a penny. Just because it's small and shiny doesn't mean it's not packed with potential. Okay, so how do I find one of these rare 1991D pennies? And is there anything else out there I should be looking for? Well, the answer is simple. Keep your eyes peeled. Look through your change, visit coin shops, and maybe even hit up some estate sales. And of course, keep up with all the latest tips and tricks for spotting valuable coins. There are plenty more out there, waiting to be discovered. Hey, if you want to stay in the loop and learn about more rare coins, valuable tips, and how to spot hidden treasure, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next big discovery. Who knows? Your next coin could be worth a fortune. So go ahead, click that button, and let's keep hunting together. And hey, maybe next time, I'll be the one talking about your $1,000,000 coin. Hey, coin lovers, I bet you didn't know that a penny could be worth more than your car, your rent, and maybe even your lunch combined. I mean, who thought a simple coin could give you a return on investment like that? Yeah, you heard me right. There's a 1961D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that could have you raking in a cool $1.6 million. Stick around because we're about to dive into this jaw-dropping coin mystery.so. If you think pennies are just pocket change, think again, because this little copper piece might just be hiding in your change jar. Or at least it should be. All right, let's break this down. The 1961D Lincoln penny, minted in Denver, was produced in the billions. That's right, billions. And guess how many of those are worth more than a dime? About one. Just one penny has the potential to make you a millionaire. Now, you're probably wondering, what makes it so special? Well, it's all about the details, my friend. The penny you're looking for isn't just any run-of-the-mill 1961D. It's a rare, high-grade version, one that was struck perfectly, with little to no wear on it. It's the condition that matters more than the date or mint mark in some cases. You can have a 1961D penny, but if it's worn out from being kicked around in your old jeans, it's not going to be worth much more than its face value. But if it's in mint condition, that's when the magic happens. Now, let me hit you with a little fun fact. Did you know that a coin's value isn't always about how many were made, but how many survived in pristine condition? It's like having a favorite childhood toy. Maybe you had an action figure or a rare baseball card that somehow survived your clumsy, younger self. A mint condition 1961D penny is like that rare toy that somehow didn't get lost, crushed, or thrown into the toy box under a mountain of Legos. All right, I know you're asking, how on earth did a 1961D penny get so valuable? The story's actually kind of funny. These pennies were so plentiful that most people thought they were just regular old cents. So, people tossed them around, pocketed them, and let them get all scratched up. The ones that survived in perfect shape are so rare now that collectors are ready to pay big bucks for them. Like seriously big bucks. You might be thinking, yeah, sure, but where do I even find one of these shiny treasures? Well, look around your house. You might have one in a drawer, in your wallet, or hiding in an old jar you've been meaning to clean out for years. Trust me, I found a couple of coins worth something in the bottom of my old change jar, and I almost died of happiness when I realized I had a few rare finds that could make me some cash. And here's a story for you. A friend of mine once found a 1961D penny while cleaning out his car. He didn't think much of it at first, just tossed it into a bowl with other random change. Then, one day, He was watching one of those late-night infomercial shows about rare coins and heard about the 1961 penny's insane value. He pulled out his penny, examined it, and sure enough, it was in nearly mint condition. Long story short, he sent it off to get graded, and boom. It came back with a grade high enough to make it worth about $1.6 million. Insert dramatic gasp here. That penny went from being a simple piece of pocket change to an absolute gold mine. If that doesn't make you want to start looking through your old pennies, I don't know what will. But here's the thing. Not all 1961 pennies are worth that much. The condition is key. A regular 1961 penny in poor condition? Yeah, it's worth about 1 cent. But get one in high grade, and you could be staring at a small fortune. It's all about that perfect strike, the clean surface, and that distinct, almost brand new look that makes these pennies rare and desirable to collectors. So, if you're finding yourself with a stash of coins, take a minute, grab a magnifying glass, or just use your phone's camera and see if any of those pennies might be hiding that valuable gem. Now, I know what you're thinking. Do I have $1 million penny sitting in my pocket right now? Maybe. But to find out for sure, you've got to start looking. And hey, even if your penny isn't worth $1.6 million, it could still be worth a lot more than you think. So, before you toss those old coins into a jar for another decade, take a closer look. It could be the key to your next big payday. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more tips on rare coins that are worth money. I'm here to help you find those hidden treasures, and trust me, there are more out there. And hey, if you find a penny worth a small fortune, send me a shout out. Maybe I'll come over to help you celebrate with a high five, and maybe a coin or two. Yup, you heard me right. This little copper coin, the 1962 Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, has some serious value. And no, it's not because it's been in your grandma's jar of coins for the last 60 years, though I bet she has some treasure in there too. So, how did a humble penny become a millionaire's dream? Let's dive into it. Alright, let's break this down. First off, the 1962 penny is not just any penny. You've got to have that D mint mark right under Abraham Lincoln's famous beard. That D stands for the Denver Mint, where the coin was made. You might think, it's just a penny. What's the big deal? Well, my friend, this penny isn't just a piece of change. It's one of the rarer, more valuable finds out there. So let's talk about why. Now, you might be wondering, what makes this 1962 penny worth $1.7 million? It's not the date. It's not the mint mark. It's a little thing called a die variety. This particular penny, in its rarer form, was struck with a flawed die. That's a big deal in the world of coin collecting, because tiny mistakes or changes can make a coin worth way more than its face value. Imagine you're baking cookies, right? You get distracted, and instead of a perfect round cookie, you end up with one that's a little burnt around the edges. You might think it's ruined, but hey, someone could think that burnt cookie is art. Well, in the world of coins, that little imperfection is gold, or in this case, copper. Okay, so how do you spot a penny that's worth big bucks? Well, a 1962 penny can become valuable if it has a special kind of flaw known as a double die variety. This happens when the die, which stamps the design onto the coin, shifts during the process. As a result, you get two distinct impressions of the design, like Lincoln's portrait being a little blurry or his words showing up twice. Now, let me tell you something. These double die pennies are as rare as a unicorn riding a rainbow. So if you happen to find one in your pocket change, do not toss it in your piggy bank or give it to a vending machine. That thing could be worth a fortune. And you know what? It's funny, because a few years ago, I actually found a 1962 penny in my own change. I remember thinking, oh cool, a penny? No biggie, and tossed it into my drawer with the rest of my, someday I'll figure out what to do with this coins. You know the ones. Those random coins you collect thinking, yeah, maybe one day I'll be the next coin millionaire. And that day never comes. Or so I thought. But imagine this. If I had taken the time to check that 1962 penny, I might have been showing it off to you right now from my beach house in Hawaii. But instead, it's probably still buried under my stack of receipts somewhere. Moral of the always check your pennies. So, what makes these double die pennies so valuable? For one thing, they're super rare. Only a few have ever been found in circulation, and guess what? The ones that are out there could fetch millions. We're talking up to $1.7 million. Yeah, that's not a typo. You could be sitting on a gold mine without even knowing it. Now, I'm not saying you'll find one in your pocket tomorrow, but hey, if you're going through some old coins, maybe your grandfather's stash or your change jar, keep an eye out for those subtle differences. That double-die penny could be waiting for you to find it and strike it rich. All right, so here's the deal. You've got a 1962 D Lincoln penny? Check it twice. Check it 3 times. Heck, get a magnifying glass and study that bad boy like you're hunting for hidden treasure. But even if it's not worth millions, the hunt for rare coins is half the fun. And who knows? You might just find the next big one. If you found this interesting, and if you want more tips on how to spot coins that could make you a fortune, hit that subscribe button below. I've got plenty more stories, tips, and tricks to help you cash in on your coin collection, or just impress your friends with your newfound knowledge. So, what are you waiting for? Your next $1 million penny could be just one click away.